Ladies and gentlemen, life has a way of testing you. It has a way of pushing you into corners, pressing you with pressures you never thought you could handle, surrounding you with storms that seem stronger than your strength. But hear me today. What looks like the end is not the end. What feels like defeat is often the very place where your greatest victory is being born. Quitting is the easiest option in the moment. It is the most costly decision in the long run. Giving up will rob you of the harvest you've been sowing toward. Backing down will steal the destiny that was placed inside you before you were even born. The struggle you are in is not here to break you. It's here to shape you, to refine you, to make you unshakable. When life knocks you down, rise up again. When the voices of doubt whisper that you're not enough, speak louder with faith and courage. When the enemy throws every obstacle in your path, keep walking, even if it's with trembling steps, because every step forward is an act of defiance against defeat. You were not created to be ordinary. You were not designed to quit. There is resilience in your bones, there is power in your breath, and there is fire in your spirit. You may bend, you will not break. You may stumble, but you will not stay down. You may cry, but you will rise again stronger than before. So keep pressing. Keep believing, keep standing tall, because every test you endure, every valley you cross, every battle you fight is preparing you for the mountain of victory that's waiting on the other side. Every life faces challenges. Every person, no matter how strong or successful, no matter how powerful or confident they may appear, will encounter seasons of struggle, setbacks, and storms. Hear this truth: challenges do not define who you are. They may shape the scenery of your journey, but they are not the identity of your destiny. They may try to mark you with scars, but those scars are not labels of defeat. They are reminders of survival, symbols of resilience, evidence of strength you did not know you had until the moment demanded it. Too often, people let the weight of their hardships tell them who they are. They let failure convince them that they are failures. They let rejection whisper that they are unworthy. They let brokenness speak louder than the potential within them. But your challenge is not your name. Your hardship is not your identity. You are more than what you are going through. If you define yourself by your challenges, you will live trapped in the shadows of your pain. If you choose to rise above them, if you refuse to let the struggle dictate the meaning of your life, then you transform every setback into a stepping stone. Challenges are temporary conditions, not permanent verdicts. The storm may rage, but storms pass. The valley may be deep, but valleys eventually lead to higher ground. The night may be long, but morning always comes. Your true identity is revealed not in how easy your life is, in how you respond when life is hard. Strength is not built on calm waters. It is forged in the middle of the storm. Character is not developed in comfort zones. It is carved out in moments of pressure and trial. Greatness is not found in the absence of struggle. It is born in the furnace of adversity. Some of the most powerful stories in history, some of the greatest testimonies you have ever heard, not about people who had smooth, easy, effortless lives. They are about people who went through the fire and refused to let the fire consume them. They are about men and women who walked through valleys but came out stronger, wiser, and more determined on the other side. Their challenges became the stage for their courage, their perseverance, and their unshakable spirit to shine. The truth is, without challenges, you would never discover the depths of your own strength. Without trials, you would never know what kind of faith you truly carry. Without obstacles, you would never learn how to climb, how to fight, how to press forward when everything in you feels like quitting. Challenges test you, but they also reveal you. They pull out of you qualities that you may not even realize you had. They awaken the giant within that comfort and ease could never awaken. When you confuse what you are going through with who you are, you rob yourself of your own power. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you tried, you learned, and you have another chance to rise again. Loss doesn't mean you are unworthy. It means you experienced pain. You also have the capacity to heal and rebuild. Delay doesn't mean denial. It means preparation is taking place, timing is aligning, and your perseverance is being stretched for the season ahead. You must refuse to let your challenges become chains that bind you to a false identity. Instead, you must see them as tools that sharpen you, trainers that prepare you, and bridges that carry you to greater levels of strength and maturity. Your life is not defined by what tried to break you. It is defined by what you became in spite of it. There are people who let challenges bury them. They quit too soon, surrender too early, and let life convince them that they are finished. But there are others, people like you, who decide that they will not be defined by the size of their problems, but by the size of their courage. They will not be defined by the depth of their valley, but by the height of their climb. They will not be defined by their wounds, but by their healing. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. Steel is strengthened by heat. Likewise, your life is strengthened through what you go through. Your challenge today may feel unbearable, but tomorrow it will be the very reason you stand taller. What you once thought was meant to destroy you will turn out to be the very thing that developed you. And let me tell you something else. You are not alone in your challenges. Everyone carries battles that others cannot see. Everyone faces nights that feel endless and days that feel overwhelming. But your ability to rise is not dependent on how heavy the challenge is. It is dependent on how strong your spirit is, and your spirit was made to endure, made to fight, made to win. This is not who I am. I am not defined by the rejection. I am not defined by the mistake. I am not defined by the pain. Who I am is greater than what I am going through. Who I am is resilient, determined, and destined. Who I am is stronger than the storm, tougher than the trial, and braver than the battle. When you refuse to let challenges define you, you open the door to a future that is not limited by your past. You give yourself permission to grow beyond your pain. You allow your destiny to be greater than your difficulty. And you remind the world that your spirit cannot be boxed in by the boundaries of your struggles, because challenges are temporary, but your strength is eternal. Challenges may shape you, but they will never own you. Challenges may press you, but they will never stop you. You are more than the struggle. You are greater than the hardship. And you will rise, not defined by what you've been through, but defined by who you've chosen to become. There is a thief that lurks in the shadows of every dream. It waits patiently for the moment when your strength feels weak, when your hope feels distant, and when your vision feels too heavy to carry. That thief is not failure. It is not rejection. It is not even opposition. It is quitting. Quitting is the silent robber of destinies, the quiet killer of dreams, and the subtle destroyer of futures. You see, failure is not final. Failure teaches, sharpens, it redirects. Rejection does not end your story. It only shifts you toward a better chapter. Opposition does not mean you cannot win. It simply means the fight is worth it. But quitting is different. Quitting closes the door that perseverance would have eventually opened. Quitting puts an end to what persistence was destined to complete. Quitting robs you of the very future you were created to experience. Think about it. Every person who ever accomplished something great faced the temptation to quit. Every leader, every inventor, every builder, every visionary at some point came to the wall where everything in them screamed, "It's too hard, it's too long, it's not worth it." But the difference between those who reached their destiny and those who fell short was not the absence of struggle. It was the refusal to surrender. When you quit, you trade the possibility of greatness for the comfort of relief. Relief feels good in the moment. It feels like a weight lifted, a burden dropped. That relief is temporary, and it comes at the cost of regret. Because the moment you quit, a part of you will always wonder, what if I had held on a little longer? What if I had tried one more time? What if the breakthrough was right around the corner? Quitting silences the answers to those questions and leaves you with emptiness where fulfillment should have been. Your future is not built overnight. It is built step by step, decision by decision, effort by effort. Every day that you push forward, no matter how small the progress seems, you are constructing something greater than what you see today. Quitting stops the construction. It leaves the building unfinished, the dream half birthed, the vision incomplete. You may have laid the foundation. You may have even built the walls. Quitting ensures the roof never goes on and the house is never lived in. You cannot measure the value of persistence in moments. It is measured in years. in seasons, in the legacy it produces. History is full of people who refused to quit even when the odds were stacked against them. Had they stopped, we would not know their names, we would not benefit from their work, we would not be inspired by their courage. What made them stand out was not that life was easy for them, but that they refused to let difficulty define their ending. Quitting robs you not only of your future, but also of the lessons that come through endurance. Every struggle you push through teaches you something. Every obstacle you overcome shapes your character. Every delay you endure stretches your patience. When you quit, you forfeit the wisdom you would have gained by staying in the fight. And without that wisdom, even if you start again, you lack the strength that perseverance would have built. There is also something powerful about momentum. Every time you keep going, you add fuel to your own fire. Every time you press on, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. Every step forward, no matter how small, builds momentum that will one day carry you across the finish line. But when you quit, you break that momentum. You start over with less energy, less confidence, and less belief in yourself. Quitting doesn't just pause your journey, it resets it and sometimes erases years of effort in a single moment. Quitting never just affects you, it affects the people who are connected to your destiny. There are lives waiting to be impacted by your perseverance. There are people whose hope will be strengthened by your story. There are generations who will benefit from your refusal to give up. When you quit, you rob not only yourself of the future, but you rob others of the inspiration, the blessing, and the change that your life was meant to bring. I know why people quit. They quit because it hurts. They quit because it takes too long. They quit because the mountain looks too high. The valley feels too deep and the night seems too dark. Quitting is the easy way out when endurance feels unbearable. But let me remind you, the darkest nights give birth to the brightest mornings. The highest mountains reveal the most breathtaking views. The deepest valleys grow the strongest roots. What you are going through is not here to destroy you. It is here to prepare you for the future that quitting would steal. Is my pain temporary? Is my destiny eternal? Pain fades, struggles pass, seasons change, but destiny lasts forever. If you quit, you trade something eternal for something temporary. You give up the forever reward for a moment of relief, and that trade will always cost more than you can afford. Quitting does not erase the dream in your heart. It only buries it alive, and buried dreams do not die quietly. They echo in the chambers of your soul, reminding you of what could have been, what should have been, of what was waiting for you on the other side of perseverance. That is why regret is heavier than failure. Failure says, I tried and I learned. Regret says, I never tried long enough to know what could have been. So when you feel tired, rest, but don't quit. When you feel weak, pause, but don't quit. When you feel discouraged, cry if you must, but get back up. Because every time you refuse to quit, you reclaim your future. Every time you hold on, you take back what quitting would have stolen. Every time you stand again, you silence the voice that says, you can't, the truth that says, I will. Your future is too valuable to be surrendered. Your destiny is too important to be abandoned. Greatness within you is too rare to be wasted. Do not let quitting rob you of the tomorrow you've been praying for, working for, and dreaming of. Because the truth is, the breakthrough you've been waiting for may be just one more step, one more day, one more push away. Because quitting ends possibilities. Perseverance unlocks them. Quitting shuts doors, but endurance opens them. Quitting steals your future, but persistence secures it. And if you will refuse to give up, if you will hold your ground and keep walking forward, your future will not just arrive, it will exceed every expectation you ever had. It whispers in the silence of the night. It screams in the middle of uncertainty. It reminds you of your past mistakes and paints your future with the colors of doubt. Fear is persuasive. It tells you that you are not enough, that you cannot make it, that you do not have what it takes to rise. And if you listen too long, fear begins to sound like truth. But there is another voice, a greater voice, a stronger voice, the voice of courage. Courage does not deny fear's existence. Courage does not pretend that fear is silent. Courage simply refuses to let fear have the final word. Where fear says, you can't, courage declares, watch me. Where fear says, turn back, courage says, move forward. Where fear says, stay small, courage says, rise up. Courage speaks louder than fear because courage is not built on the absence of uncertainty. It is built on the decision to move in spite of it. Fear thrives on hesitation, but courage finds its power in action. Fear grows when you stand still, but courage strengthens when you take steps. Fear magnifies the obstacles, but courage magnifies the possibilities. Life will always present moments that invite fear. The new job that feels too big, the dream that feels impossible, the relationship that feels risky, the future that feels uncertain. Fear will show up at the doorway of every significant opportunity you encounter. But when courage speaks louder, you step into those doors and discover that what you thought was impossible is only waiting for someone brave enough to try. Fear is loud in the beginning, courage is loud in the end. Think about it, when people look back on your life, they won't remember the fears that held you back. They will remember the moments when you stood strong, when you dared to leap, when you took risks in the face of uncertainty. Fear fades into the background of history, but courage writes the headlines. Courage is not just about big, dramatic acts of bravery. Sometimes courage is quiet. Sometimes it is the decision to get out of bed when depression tells you to stay down. Sometimes it is choosing to forgive when bitterness feels safer. Sometimes it is trying again after a painful failure. Sometimes it is speaking up when your voice trembles. Courage doesn't always roar. It often whispers, I will not give up. Fear tries to paralyze you, to lock you into a prison of hesitation. But courage gives you wings. It does not erase the existence of the storm, but it teaches you how to sail through it. Courage looks fear in the eye and says, you will not control my story. And once you discover that voice inside you, once you let courage speak louder, you begin to live a life not defined by limitations, but by possibilities. There are countless opportunities buried under fear. Dreams that were never attempted, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, relationships that were never pursued, lives that were never changed. And do you know why? Not because people weren't capable, not because they lacked talent or vision, but because fear silenced them. Fear convinced them that failure would be final, that rejection would be unbearable, that risk would be destructive. And so instead of moving forward, they stayed where they were. You are not called to live muted by fear. You are called to live led by courage. The courage inside you is greater than the fear before you. Power within you is stronger than the obstacles ahead of you. You cannot afford to let fear win, because every time fear wins, you lose a piece of your destiny. Every time fear silences you, the world misses out on the gift you were meant to bring. Every time fear chains you, you remain stuck in a life smaller than the one you were created to live. That is why courage must speak louder. Courage says, yes, I'm afraid. I will move anyway. Courage says, yes, the risk is high, but the reward is greater. Courage says, yes, the unknown is scary. I refuse to stay trapped in the familiar. Courage understands that fear is natural, but fear is not sovereign. Fear may come, but it does not get to reign. Fear may speak, but it does not get to command. And here's the secret: the more you act in courage, the weaker fear becomes. Fear feeds on inaction. Fear grows when you listen and obey its voice. But courage starves fear. Every time you take a step forward, fear loses ground. Every time you take action, fear loses volume. Every time you do what you were afraid to do, fear shrinks until it becomes nothing more than background noise. Consider the people who inspire you most. They are not people who lived free of fear. They are people who lived full of courage. Heroes are not fearless, they are brave. Leaders are not without doubt, they simply choose to lead anyway. Visionaries are not free of risk, they simply accept the risk as part of the journey. What makes them stand out is not that fear never spoke. Courage always spoke louder. And here's where it gets personal. You already have courage inside you. It is not something you need to go find. It is something you need to awaken. Every time you faced something hard and kept moving, that was courage. Every time you got up after being knocked down, that was courage. Every time you stood for something you believed in, even if no one else stood with you, that was courage. The voice of courage has already spoken in your life. You simply need to give it the microphone more often than fear. Life will test you. Life will shake you. Life will give you moments where fear screams so loud you feel like you cannot breathe. But in those moments, remember, courage is not about the absence of fear. It's about the refusal to surrender to fear. Courage is the voice that tells you to move, to rise, to keep going even when trembling. Courage speaks louder than fear because courage refuses to let fear write the story of your life. So let courage lead. Let it speak through your decisions, through your actions, through your persistence. Let courage drown out the noise of insecurity, doubt, and fear. Because your destiny is not waiting for you on the other side of fear. It is waiting for you on the other side of courage. Fear will always try to intimidate you, but courage will always empower you. Fear will tell you, stay safe. But courage will tell you, step out. Fear will tell you, you can't. But courage will tell you, you must. And when the two voices battle for your attention, choose courage, because courage speaks louder than fear, and courage is always the language of destiny. There are many qualities people admire: intelligence, talent, charisma, even strength. But none of those qualities alone guarantee that you will endure the storms of life. None of them alone ensure that you will rise after being knocked down. None of them protect you from seasons of disappointment, heartbreak, or loss. What truly determines whether you stand or fall, whether you break or rise, whether you remain or quit, is resilience. Resilience is not just the ability to survive. It is the ability to bounce back, to adapt, to rise again even stronger than before. It is the invisible force inside you that refuses to let defeat have the final say. It is the inner strength that whispers, this is not the end, even when everything around you screams that it is. Resilience is what turns scars into stories, setbacks into comebacks, and losses into lessons. Life will test you. That is not a possibility, it is a guarantee. There will be seasons where your plans fall apart, ground beneath you feels shaky, where doors close that you were sure would open. There will be times when you give your all and still come up short. Times when you love deeply and still face heartbreak. Times when you do right and still face wrong. And in those moments, talent will not save you. Intelligence will not comfort you. Strength may even fail you, but resilience will carry you. Resilience is your anchor in the storm. It does not stop the waves from crashing, but it keeps you steady until the storm passes. Resilience does not prevent tears from falling. It gives you the courage to wipe them away and keep moving forward. Resilience does not shield you from pain, but it gives you the power to transform pain into purpose. The truth is, life does not reward those who never fall. It rewards those who rise every time they do. Every great victory in history has resilience at its foundation. Every story of triumph is a story of someone who refused to stay down when life knocked them over. Resilience is not glamorous, it is not flashy, it is the most powerful weapon you carry within you. Because resilience does not deny the reality of difficulty. It redefines your response to it. Instead of asking, why me? Resilience asks, what now? Instead of saying, this is the end, resilience says, this is the beginning of something new. Instead of letting challenges break you, resilience teaches you to bend without snapping, to adapt without losing your identity, to endure without surrendering. When you embrace resilience as your power, you stop seeing setbacks as failures and start seeing them as training. Every disappointment becomes a classroom. Every trial becomes a teacher. Every delay becomes preparation. Resilience changes your perspective because it knows that the story is not finished until you rise again. Resilience is the reason why some people go through unimaginable hardships and still find joy, while others crumble under smaller burdens. It is not about what happens to you. It is about what rises within you when it happens. Two people can face the same storm, but one gives up and the other grows stronger. The difference is not luck, not circumstance, not privilege. It is resilience. And resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every time you choose to get back up, you are strengthening it. Every time you endure when quitting feels easier, you are fortifying it. Every time you rise after falling, you are proving to yourself that your resilience is greater than your resistance. It is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. There is a danger, though. Many people underestimate the power of resilience. They chase after talent, after wealth, after recognition, believing those things will secure their success. But how many talented people gave up too soon? How many brilliant minds quit before their ideas took shape? How many strong individuals crumbled when life hit harder than expected? Talent without resilience fades. Strength without resilience breaks. Intelligence without resilience doubts itself. But resilience stands even when everything else falls. Your true power is not in how hard you can hit, in how many times you can be hit and still keep moving forward. Your true power is not in how high you climb, in how many times you climb again after falling. Your true power is not in the ease of your journey, but in the endurance of your spirit. That is why resilience is your greatest weapon. It cannot be taken from you. Resilience also gives birth to hope. Hope is not blind optimism. It is the belief that tomorrow can be better, even when today is broken. Hope is what fuels resilience. Resilience is what protects hope. Together, they keep you moving when everything else says stop. Without resilience, hope fades. But with resilience, hope grows even in the darkest of nights. And let me remind you, resilience does not mean you do not feel pain. It does not mean you do not cry or doubt, stumble. It means you do not stay there. Resilience allows you to be human and still be unbreakable. It allows you to admit the struggle while refusing to surrender to it. It allows you to experience the weight of hardship without letting it crush your spirit. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be moments when the pressure feels unbearable, when the burden feels too heavy, when the night feels too long. But resilience whispers, one more step, one more day, one more try. And those small steps, those daily choices, those moments of endurance, they build a future that quitting would have stolen. Resilience is not just about surviving. It is about thriving. It is about using the very things that tried to break you as the foundation for your strength. It is about looking back at the storms you endured and realizing they prepared you for the battles you are winning now. It is about knowing that no matter what life throws at you, there is nothing stronger than the spirit that refuses to give up. So stand tall. Life may bend you. It will not break you. Challenges may bruise you, but they will not define you. Pain may visit you, but it will not destroy you. Because resilience is your true power, and as long as you carry it within you, nothing can stop you from rising again. Resilience is the power that keeps you grounded when life shakes you. It is the fire that keeps you warm when the cold of despair tries to freeze you. It is the light that guides you when the night feels endless. Resilience is your shield, your sword, and your strength. And when you embrace it, when you live it, when you let it guide you, you will discover that nothing in this world can break a spirit that refuses to stay down. There comes a moment in every life when surrender feels tempting. The weight of disappointment, the sting of failure, silence of unanswered prayers. It can all make you question whether the fight is worth it. Giving up seems easier. Walking away feels safer. Surrender whispers to you, at least the pain will stop. You are not here by accident. You were born with purpose, designed with intention, equipped with gifts that the world needs. Your destiny is not random. It is divine. It is woven into the very fabric of who you are. And because of that, your destiny is worth every tear, every trial, every sleepless night, and every moment of struggle. Temptation to surrender is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of greatness. No one tries to steal what has no value. No one fights for something that is meaningless. The reason surrender looks appealing is because your destiny is costly, and costly things demand endurance. The greater the calling, the greater the opposition, the higher the purpose, the heavier the pressure. But never forget, pressure does not destroy diamonds, creates them. Your destiny carries weight, it carries influence, it carries power beyond what you see right now. That's why surrender is so dangerous, because when you give up, you are not just laying down your own dreams. You are laying down the generations connected to you. You are laying down the lives your courage was meant to touch. You are laying down the impact your story was designed to make. Destiny is not just about you. It is about everything and everyone tied to you. Your perseverance might be the reason someone else finds hope. Your story might be the reason someone else refuses to quit. Your victory might be the spark that ignites another person's breakthrough. If you surrender, they may never see the light that was supposed to shine through you. That is why your destiny is too valuable to give up. It is bigger than you. Think about the people you admire most. They were not people who had easy roads. They were not people who floated through life untouched by hardship. They were people who endured, who pressed on, who refused to surrender even when it would have been the logical choice. What made them great was not their comfort, but their commitment, not their ease, but their endurance, not their blessings, but their battles. Their refusal to surrender is the very reason their names inspire us today, and the same will be true of you. Your greatness will not be measured by the moments when everything was simple. It will be measured by the moments when surrender was close. You chose to keep fighting. When you felt weak, but you kept walking. When you felt broken, but you kept believing. Your destiny is too valuable to trade for temporary relief. Surrender promises rest, but it delivers regret. It convinces you that stopping now will ease your burden, but later it leaves you haunted by the question, what if I had kept going? What if I had tried one more time? What if my breakthrough was closer than I thought? Regret is the price of surrender. It is a price far too high for you to pay. Your destiny demands resilience. It demands courage. It demands faith in the unseen, persistence in the face of resistance, and vision beyond the present moment. Destiny is not cheap. It will cost you sleepless nights, hard decisions, and relentless perseverance. But surrender will cost you more. It will cost you the fulfillment of everything you were created to be. There is greatness within you that has not yet been revealed. There are dreams in you that have not yet been manifested. There are victories waiting for you that surrender would steal away. You may not see the full picture now. Trust me, what is ahead of you is worth every step you are taking now. If you could glimpse the impact of your destiny, you would understand why surrender is not an option. You see, destiny is like a seed. It does not show its greatness immediately. For a long time, it looks small, insignificant, even buried. But beneath the soil, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Life is preparing to break forth. If you surrender too soon, you uproot the seed before it has a chance to grow. But if you endure, if you trust the process, seed becomes a tree that bears fruit for generations. Your destiny is like that. It may look small now. It may feel invisible. It may seem as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, something is being prepared. Something greater than you can imagine is forming. And if you refuse to surrender, you will see it bloom into fullness. The truth is, destiny requires patience. The waiting seasons are not wasted. They are working for you. The hard seasons are not pointless. They are preparing you. The painful seasons are not punishment. They are positioning you. Surrender would strip you of the very process that is shaping you into who you must become to carry the weight of your destiny. It is stronger than your mistakes. Even if you stumble, even if you fall, even if you take detours along the way, your destiny is still calling you forward. Surrender is the only true enemy of destiny because it is the only thing that can stop you completely. Mistakes can be redeemed. Failures can be corrected. Delays can be overcome. But surrender brings everything to a halt. So you must decide, will you surrender to the pressure of the moment, or will you endure for the promise of your destiny? Will you lay down your future for temporary ease, or will you rise above the struggle to claim what is already yours? Your destiny is too valuable to leave behind. It is too precious to hand over to discouragement, too powerful to be abandoned because of difficulty. When you feel weary, remind yourself this is not the end. When you feel weak, remind yourself my destiny is still alive. When surrender whispers in your ear, shout louder, my destiny is worth the fight. Because it is. Your destiny carries too much value, too much purpose, too much greatness to be left behind. So hold on, keep pressing, keep believing, keep walking forward. You may bend, but you will not break. You may stumble, but you will not fall forever. You may struggle, you will not surrender because your destiny is waiting and it is too valuable to give up now. Your destiny is not only your future, it is your legacy. It is the mark you leave on the world, the light you shine in the darkness, the story you write for generations to read. Do not surrender it. Do not waste it. Do not trade it for the temporary relief of quitting. Stand firm, because what lies ahead of you is far greater than what lies behind you.